Everywhere you go in the world, it's just not the same as it once was. I mean, I've been alive for 17 years and the world looks different now than it did 17 years ago. Construction sites are going up, everything is so busy and on the go, and they're always looking to redevelop things and take away land and building big communities around small schools and taking away forests behind soccer fields to put up apartment buildings and mini shopping centers for a bunch of mostly useless buildings. And a lot of the land that hasn't already been developed is going to be developed into another useless building. And what happened to the nature in the world? What happened to the big grass fields and the mountains and the old country roads and the rivers and the forests and spending time outdoors, enjoying nature? Sometimes you need a break from all the stress in life, and the golf course is the perfect place to offer that break. It's quiet, it's relaxing, it's a place where you'll meet many new friends. It's carved into nature rather than building over it. It's a game like no other. I was first introduced to golf because we own a place at Predator Ridge. Predator Ridge is a golf resort in Vernon, BC, and it has two golf courses, the Predator course and the Ridge course, and they're both two totally different courses. The Predator is a link-style golf course, which is out in the open, and the Ridge is a course that goes way out into the bush and overlooks the Okanagan Lake and has many fantastic views. And we go up there every summer, ever since I was 1, and I loved it no matter what, even when I couldn't golf. It has absolutely every outdoor activity you could possibly want. It has swimming, biking, hiking, tennis, everything you could possibly want, and it was so much fun to just be there. It was like my paradise. And having a nice meal on the patio and watching my dad putt on the 17th green for double bogey, and after the round telling me how good he was and I would tell him that he isn't, and it was just super awesome and it was super fun. And that's kind of what sparked my interest in golf, because I was living on the course for so long. It was like, how could you not become interested in golf? And when I was about 7 years old, my dad took me to Golf Town to get my very first set of clubs. It was me, my dad, and my grandpa who went. Golf Town is the perfect place to go shopping for golf stuff because they have everything. They have drivers, irons, wedges, putters, they have tees, balls, clothes, they have absolutely everything you could possibly need. And as a 7-year-old, for your first set of clubs, you really only need the basics, like a driver, 3-wood, a 7-iron, pitching wedge, and a putter. And that's exactly what we did. We asked the guy what kind of clubs they had for kids, and they had a huge section, and it was just all these little clubs, and most of them were right-handed because most golfers in the world are right-handed and I was the lefty, so it was a lot tougher to find. But then we found this nice orange little set for me, and sure enough they were perfect. And then went to go pay, but not before me and my dad and my grandpa had a little putt off on the nice putting green that they had in Golf Town, and that's kind of where my golf journey began. I first started playing at Redwoods Golf Course, which has a golf course and a driving range, but I didn't start playing the course because the course is very difficult. But they do have a beautiful practice facility. It has a beautiful driving range with lots of space. It has 2 putting greens, one for putting specifically and one for chipping and putting. And I'd go down there and I'd have the whole range to myself when I'd go at night, and then I'd just start hitting balls out there. I'd be with my dad and he'd start teaching me how to do it a bit, and I wasn't very good. I really looked unnatural and I was just kind of chopping away, but eventually I got better and I kept on doing it and I really enjoyed it, and I invited some friends out and I kept getting better and better and better, and I still continue to go there today because it's an absolutely fantastic facility and it's only 10 minutes away from my house, so you really can't beat it. The first real course I started playing at was Poppy Estate Golf Course, which is actually the place that I filmed my One Club Golf Challenge, which is currently on my YouTube channel. We went there because my grandpa had a membership there, and because it's a par 63, which means there are no long par 5s, so you don't have to worry about having to hit the ball very far because there's no long holes. And it was very open, so it was very good to learn your shots, learn your irons, learn everything, and that's where I started going for the longest of time. And I'd go with my grandpa, I'd invite my friends out, and we'd just have a great time. It was great because there was no pressure, the marshals didn't care, everyone could go at their own pace because it's not a high expectation golf course, and it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it for the many years that I went there. The only problem with it was that it was about 30 minutes away because it's all the way in Aldergrove, and that video was the last time I've ever been there. In spring of grade 10, I decided it was time for me to get a job. And I had two friends that worked at a golf course the previous summer, and one friend that was currently working at Fort Langley Golf Course that year. And so I decided, what better thing than to possibly get a job at a golf course? So that's exactly what I did. I applied at 3 golf courses, Redwoods, Belmont, and Fort Langley. And unfortunately, none of them responded to me. That really sucked because I had my hopes set really high on getting a job at a course, just being able to go out there and hit balls whenever I want for free and living the dream like the rest of my friends that got the jobs. But the one friend who I had working at Fort Langley that year told me I should come in again and he'd recommend me. So I dropped off a second resume and I happened to meet a legend named Doug Reed who interviewed me on the spot. Next thing I knew, in a week, he sent me a text and said I was hired. That was great, and I continue to work there today, and I'm so glad that I started working there because it's a fantastic place. Now, it's definitely not the nicest course out of all of them. There's a lot of things that are falling apart and that they really should spend a bit more money there, but the people are fantastic. The course is so much fun to play, and it's just overall a great experience, and I'm so glad that I started working there. My favorite time to golf is definitely twilight, and I'm sure you can see why. That's when you got nobody on the course, the whole course is to yourself, nobody in front of you, nobody behind you. You can play at your own pace. It's golden hour, so the sun's shining right on you. The course looks beautiful. That's what I'd always do. I'd go out there around 5 o'clock, I'd strap my bag onto a cart, I'd go drive out there, and I'd just hit balls and practice until the sunset. And it was great. I absolutely loved it. And that's partially what really helped my development in the game. My tee shots became a lot more consistent. My irons have been really good, a lot straighter. My approach shots have been very good. It has left me a great chance on the green. And I started to make those putts that otherwise I hadn't been making. And I become a lot more confident on the green and in myself. And I enjoy doing it. I think the most important thing with anything you do in life is you've got to enjoy it. Because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to be good at it, no matter what it is that you do. Because if it becomes a thing where I have to go to the golf course today to practice rather than I'm going to go to the golf course today because I want to putt or chip and get better, that's what separates the good and the great. And I'm also very creative with my game. I look up to a guy named Phil Mickelson who hits the craziest chip shot you'd ever believe. He hits the flop shot where he hits it 10 feet in the air straight above his head and lands 6 feet in front of him and right beside the hole, rather than keeping it nice and low and more controlled, which is a less riskier shot. And I've become very good at it. The problem with the shot is if you miss-hit it, since it is a full swing, your ball is going to be 50 yards past the hole and it's going to lead to an absolute disaster. But it's a lot of fun, and I just like to go out there, fool around, practice, hit all different types of shots until sunset, and then I'll walk off the course. And I'm super glad that I took up the game of golf because it's led to a lot of amazing experiences and a lot of amazing memories, and I'm super excited to see what the future has to hold.